Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's Big JTV, man. Like, comment, subscribe as y'all hop in, pop in, do y'all thing, man. What's been happening in the WNBA? And yes, we are going to talk about the WNBA. Like, comment, subscribe. This is a great time for basketball. Great time for basketball. And last week, not even last week, 3-4 days ago on Saturday, the Chicago Skies played the Indiana Fever, aka Angel Reese's team versus Caitlyn Clark's team, right? And instead of really caring about the game or the sport of basketball, the sports media decided to focus on a hard foul on Angel Reese from Caitlyn Clark in order to make news headlines and get clicks. And guess what? I'm going to do the same. I need clicks. I need to get to 2K subscribers. And if it means I got to clout chase, I'm clout chasing, bro. I'm clout chasing, bro. I'm going to on 12 points, 17 boards. A lot of them were her misses. I'm going to keep it real. A lot of her boards were her misses. But let's move forward as to what happened. That hard foul brought a lot of the racial and sports grifters out of the paint. You know what I mean? These people clearly wanted to make something out of nothing, right? In other words, you had RG3. RG3 is a corny brother, but he tried to keep it sport. And he said something that, in my mind, was tame and objectively normal, right? He said that Angel Reese hates Caitlyn Clark, right? And he said the reason that this beef is even a lot bigger is because it is white woman versus black woman. It's racial in nature, but the fact remains is Angel Reese has a deep hatred for Caitlyn Clark. Now, in my eyes, I don't see it that way. I think it's competitive rivalry. In other words, Caitlyn Clark and Angel Reese have actually played together at the WNBA All-Star game, and they seem to be cordial and get along. This is not the type of hate that is like Bill Laimbeer and Larry Bird. Keep in mind, Bill Laimbeer from the Detroit Pistons was a white man. Larry Bird obviously is also a white man. Right? This is not Rudy Gobert versus Draymond Green. Both black men. Both hate each other deeply. About to scrap multiple times. This is just competitive rivalry. So I'm gonna play the clip by RG3 explaining this, and let's keep on going. I'll meet y'all on the back end.
So where was this type of reaction last year when Angel Reese got chokeslammed by Alyssa Thomas of the Connecticut Sun? Y'all remember that? She got fouled so hard, they kicked Aaliyah Thomas out the game with a flagrant 2 foul. What did Angel Reese do? Nothing. She didn't get up and try to swing on her. You know why? The reaction was different because of who did it. And there is a lot of history there with Caitlyn Clark and Angel Reese. You guys remember last year when Angel Reese celebrated Kennedy Carter getting that flagrant foul on the hip check against Caitlyn Clark? You remember that? On the sideline, just, yeah, baby, get her, you get her. Who celebrates like that for a flagrant foul on another player if they don't dislike that player? Okay, you want some more evidence? Here's some more evidence. Remember last year when they were talking about who gets the credit for the expansion and the eyeballs and the popularity boost of women's basketball? Not just the WNBA, but women's basketball in general, because of the spike in the women's NCAA tournament and WNBA viewership. A lot of people were attributing that to Caitlyn Clark, and rightfully so. This is what Angel Reese had to say, and I quote, "People are talking about women's basketball. You never would think they'd be talking about women's basketball. People are pulling up to the games. We got celebrities coming to the games, sold out arenas, just because of one single game. Just looking at that, I'll take that role. I'll take the bad guy role, and I'll continue to take that on to be that for my teammates. I know I'll go down in history. I'll look back in 20 years and be like, the reason we're watching women's basketball is not just because of one person. It's because of me too. I want y'all to realize that." Now, I heard a lot of people say, that I or others have made Angel Reese the villain. Did you not just hear herself call herself the bad guy? She called herself the villain. I'm not making her the villain. She's making herself the villain.
Right. So RG3 gives a pretty tame commentary. It's kind of wrong. I don't fully agree with his point, my bad. But he makes some valid arguments based on basketball on the sport, right? So in response, Ryan Clark makes a 3-minute soliloquy on some Shakespeare-ish. I'm not going to play y'all the full 3 minutes about the take that RG3 did. So I'm going to play it here.
On what they're feeling, what Black women deal with, what they're seeing when they think of a young Angel Reese. And the whole time that he's mimicking Angel Reese and bobbing his head and moving his neck while he's doing this whole piece, his wife is in the back amening and clapping. And so to me, it's just another situation that now this young lady has to deal with. When I worked with RG3, he would make all of these sort of corny jokes about milk and how much he loved it and how important it was. And he always points out on social media the color of his wife's skin, as if the color of her skin is what makes her special, as if the color of her skin is what makes her a good wife. I've met the lady, I've had a conversation with her. Right. I think she's more than that. But it also leads to what Black women deal with a lot from Black men who have chose to date or marry outside of their race. They always feel like they have to go the extra mile to prop up the woman that they're married or the woman that they're with over Black women by denigrating Black women. I feel like we should have an opportunity to move past that and understand that Angel Reese can be great in her own right, as Caitlyn Clark is as well. Caitlyn Clark is a likable and lovable superstar. She pays homage to the stars of the past. She pays homage to the Black women that have come before her. And now she is carrying the mantle forward. So there's no need to pin those two against each other and paint them based on stereotypical tropes. And I think this is what I'd like RG3 to know, that no matter how much he continues to echo the microaggressions of racists, he'll be no less Black than me.
And within all that BS that Ryan was talking about, he implicated again that RG3 is a cornball brother that does not actually have a reference point to actually critique Angel Reese, right? So because RG3 was, because RG3 was is married to a white woman and always obsessed about talking about milk, he's a milkman, as it were, that keeps him detached from understanding Angel Reese's struggle as a Black woman within a sports atmosphere, right? Boom. At that point, you have RG3 who replied to him again. So now they going back and forth, man. I'm going to play the RG3 reply here.
Yo, what's up, everybody? It's your boy RG3, and I just wanted to get on here and talk to you guys because there's been a lot of buzz, a lot of conversations about my sports take that Angel Reese hates Caitlyn Clark, which was purely based in basketball. But I think all of you know there's a line in life that you just simply don't cross. Wives and children are always off limits, and Ryan Clark has sprinted past that line. Ryan Clark didn't like my sports take that Angel Reese hates Caitlyn Clark. And that's fine. It's okay. It's part of the game. Sports media, I'm going to have an opinion. This person might not agree with it. That person might not agree with it. But what you don't do is turn around and personally attack me and my family just because you don't agree with a sports opinion that is purely based off the sport. I didn't make it personal. But what that really shows is just how low of a person Ryan Clark is. But Ryan, you crossed the line, man. You made it personal and some. I really believe there should be no space in sports media for personal attacks. I've said it before. But certainly personal attacks against wife and children have always been off limits. Ryan, you attacked me and my family in a public forum on a level that shows just how low of a human being you are. You can disagree with me all you want. Challenge my takes, but keep my family and my wife out of it. That's a boundary that should always be respected, man. Always. Ryan Clark personally attacking me and my family because he disagreed with my sports opinion is a bad look for ESPN. It's cowardly, it's spineless, and it's weak. Ryan Clark personally attacking me and my family. Personally because he disagreed with my sports opinion is a bad look for him as a man. I hope you get the help you need, brother.
And like RG3 was saying, it became personal. Is it that personal? Not really. But I get what he's saying. He brought his wife into this. But bro, let me tell you something. RG3, you're viral on the internet for doing corny-ish with your wife. You literally have a podcast with your wife. Your wife is no longer just your wife. Your wife is your co-host on your podcast. She's your partner in your showings. So RG3 also looks goofy here because you make your life so personal to the point where it's gotten weird, man. And am I saying that RG3's wife brought this up because RG3's wife is obviously white and she sees this racial tension happening between, Angel Reese and Ryan Clark? Maybe, but I doubt it. I think his wife was just trying to support her man. And maybe she's a nice, decent woman. I don't know that. She seems kind, at least on social media. But the fact remains is that RG3 does a ton of cornball-ish on social media with his wifey. And that leaves you, unfortunately, able to be critiqued and maybe even commented on. So you made yourself vulnerable in a social media aspect. That's how I look at it. But now we're veering off the point. The point is, again, does Angel Reese hate Caitlyn Clark? No, I believe it's just competitive. I want to be better than you. I want to be more respected than you. I'm a part of the rise of women's basketball into the mainstream. So what happens next? We'll go to what happens next. Ryan Clark responds, not with a video, but with, I think, a pretty aggressive response, but maybe accurate, maybe meaning. So here Ryan Clark says on Twitter, bruh, you know what it is with me and you. I saved you the entire season on Monday Night Football. I urge people to let you be you. No matter how corny and how bad a teammate you were, I had your back. What did you do? Invite someone on your show you know I don't fool with to ask questions about me and then hit me up weeks later to tell me you're gonna challenge me on one of my takes. You're a phony, bro. One of the worst teammates I've ever had, both on the field and in TV. You gotta do what you gotta do. I didn't attack your wife. I spoke on what you did on social media and TV. Like I said, I met your wife and she seemed like a lovely lady that was worth more than the color of her skin. You be good, bruh. So in that reply, Ryan Clark is escalating the aggression, right? And taking it further, saying, bruh, I had to cover your weak, pathetic behind. You were trash. You know what I mean? And you weren't liked among the colleagues. You were corny. You wasn't it. Now, is RG3 of course he's a cornball. Of course. You know what I mean? Of course he's weird. Of course he does a lot of cringe-ish on the internet, man. You know what I mean? Swallowing bagels, all kind of out of pocket, not ish. But is his point valid about there being a lot of tension between Caitlyn Clark and Angel Reese? Yes, it's valid, but taking it as far as hate, I don't agree with that. But did RG3 keep it basketball? Yes, he did. Yes, he did. And no matter what Ryan Clark said, Ryan Clark made it personal from the jump. And that's what happens with a lot of Ryan Clark's takes, is that they take a personal spin and veer away from the sport. They lose a version of objectivity, right? And that's something that a lot of sports fans don't like. We want to watch sports as a form of escape, as a form of entertainment, man. We don't want to know about your beef with RG3. And I believe personally, RG3 has a lot of people within ESPN who didn't like him. That's why he didn't get renewed for his contract. I believe Ryan Clark when he says that RG3 had to be covered because he's a cornball. I'm telling you right now, y'all, RG3 seems like a snake to me. I'm just going to keep it real. I think he's all right. I don't know what it is, but I just have a strong feeling he's all right. And I feel like he hates himself. I personally think that he hates himself. And it's not because he has a white wife. It's because he does cornball, weird actions. And he's a weirdo. But at the same time, Ryan Clark, you taking it to the deep end on some issue you don't have to take to the deep end. So Ryan Clark is heavily emotional himself. You know? And he looks bad because, keep this in mind, Ryan Clark has a white baby mama. It's like what? It's like the pot meet the kettle, dog. Like, what are you talking about, bro? Your first child is a mulatto mixed kid, man. Like, what are you talking about, bro? You look very silly for going off on RG3's blackness, really, because that's what you did. You went at his blackness. When you yourself could be questioned about your blackness for having a mixed race child. You know what I mean? So the shoe can go on the other foot, dog. And in my mind, let's just keep it basketball, man. Let's just keep talking about these women playing basketball. Unfortunately, Angel Reese and the Chicago Sky are not playing good basketball. Caitlyn Clark and the Indiana Fever are playing great basketball and actually are favored to be in a later playoff push. Let's keep this basketball, man. Because when we leave it out the realm of basketball and turn into a social, racial, gender conversation, that's where you turn off a lot of fans and a lot of potential new fans to the sport. You know what I mean? Let me know how y'all feel about it, though. Big JTV, are we team Ryan Clark or team RG3, man? I'm team basketball, man. I just want to watch hoop, man. Big JTV, I'm out.